swollen testicles, anal itching, burning pee.
Oh wait, I think I know that.
Would you like 3 to choose
Can
from?
I try?
Yeah, give it-
or unless you
Gonorrhea?
want-
Is it gonorrhea?
You are good.
Wow.
Gonorrhea.
Because I have that
everybody.
shit.
Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, today we're going to be doing some more conspiracy theories. And today's exciting because we have something very different. We have one conspiracy that is about me. But we're going to get to that later on in the video. First, we're going to be talking about Beyonce's twins and whether or not they are the new leaders of the Illuminati. So we've talked about this whole Beyonce and Jay-Z being the leaders of the Illuminati thing before, and a lot of theorists believe that mainly because they've shown signs in music videos and in pictures. They've done devil horns, they've done the 666 over their eyes, and also they are super crazy famous and very, very influential. Now, Beyonce giving birth to the new leader of the Illuminati is not something new. People were talking about this back when she gave birth to Blue Ivy. And there's a couple really creepy clues for that. This first one being the creepiest. Supposedly Blue Ivy's name backwards is also a Latin name for the daughter of Satan. And backwards her name is Yulb Evie. Now people also think her name is an acronym for something very creepy. Blue Ivy, born living under evil, Illuminati's very youngest. So then Beyonce recently came out and said she was pregnant with twins. This also will give her a total of 3 children, and the number 3 is a huge deal in the Illuminati. It's a very worshipped number. Now they also worship prime numbers. For example, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on. Now these numbers are very worshipped, and they also come up a lot in certain events. Anytime there's a big world event, you'll probably notice that there are some prime numbers in it. For example, she released her pregnancy picture on February 1st of 2017, and that date is filled with prime numbers. Now, a lot of theorists think that the twins are going to be the next leaders of the Illuminati, and some of their evidence and points kind of make sense. For example, twins have a lot of powers. They can read each other's minds, they can feel each other's energies, and they have a bond that can never be broken. Now, Jay-Z and Beyonce, who are supposedly current leaders in the Illuminati, have had a rocky history. I mean, she's written songs about him with possible infidelity. I mean, they've had their share of problems, and they're still together, and that's great. But if you're going to be the next leaders of the Illuminati, there can be no way that you split up. Because if you split up, the Illuminati's fucked. So what better way to make sure you can't split up than if you're related? I mean, just imagine twins taking over the Illuminati. They can fucking hear each other's thoughts. They can get into fights, but they'll never break up because they have that twin bond. That's scary. So since Beyonce's announced that she was pregnant with twins, it kind of seems like she's going crazy on symbolism, and a lot of it looks very Illuminati. For example, in her Grammys performance, I mean, she was dressed up in this gold outfit with this crown, and a lot of theorists said that she looked like the Illuminati goddess Isis. Funny thing that happened at the Grammys that people think was Illuminati related was the fact that Adele literally refused to accept that award, and she was like, I am giving half of this to Beyonce. Now a lot of people thought, well, oh, she just, respects Beyonce and thinks that Lemonade was, probably a better album. And then some people think that she was afraid to win against her, and also might have done it as some kind of sacrifice, some kind of gift. This might have been Adele's way of getting into the Illuminati. Because if you remember, Taylor Swift at the VMAs that year, getting humiliated by Kanye, that was her offering. And Adele, refusing to accept her award, maybe that was hers. But speaking of the Grammys, Katy Perry performed there too. And there was some Illuminati shit going on, supposedly, in that performance. But before we even get to that, this next one kind of fucked me up. Now, as you guys know, Katy Perry just came out with that new song, Chained to the Rhythm. And when I heard it for the first time, I was like really hit by the words. But I didn't put together that it was a political song. I thought it was a song about, our culture and the fact that everybody's living on Instagram and Snapchat and not actually enjoying life. Well, then a theory came out that said that it's not about either of those things. It's actually Katy Perry's way of saying that she wants to break out of the Illuminati. Okay, so let's talk about the evidence. First, look at the cover art for the song. You can see she's doing the 666 with her hands over her eyes, which is a very common Illuminati symbol. Okay, so now that we're kind of thinking about the fact that maybe she wants to break out of the Illuminati, re-listen to these lyrics and tell me it doesn't fucking creep you out.
Yeah, we think we're free. Drink this one's on me, we're all chained to the rhythm.
I mean, kind of sounds like it, right? Like the fact that she is chained to this music in some kind of a contract, the fact that she's not free, can't do what she wants because the Illuminati's probably telling her what to do, and maybe her and all of her other pop star friends are chained to their music and they want to get out of it. I don't know. I mean, you guys remember back like a few months ago we talked about Britney Spears and how she tried to release this album that the record label knew nothing about, and it was about her wanting to break free and feeling controlled and feeling, chained to her music. And now Katy Perry's doing the same thing. And then the fact that Katy Perry was referencing Britney Spears' mental breakdown on the red carpet at the Grammys, and she was excited that she hasn't lost her mind and shaved her head yet. Maybe she doesn't want the same thing to happen to her that happened to Britney. Maybe that's why she's trying to break out of the Illuminati right now. So now let's talk about her Grammy performance. Now there was a lot going on that a lot of people were picking up. She was doing the devil horns, she was doing the 666 over her eyes. But one thing she did that really kind of made a lot of people notice was as she was walking around the fence, lightning came and it struck her. Very similar to the way that Lucifer, the devil, was struck by lightning in heaven and it made him fall to hell. Well, right after Katy got struck by lightning, guess where she ended up? Turn it up, it's your favorite song. Dance, dance, dance. Yeah, she was in fire, which is hell. Or maybe Katy Perry's song is really just about politics and maybe we're all crazy, but maybe we're not. And that brings us to our next conspiracy, which is that Donald Trump actually does not want to be president and is trying to get fired. So this is something we've talked about before, the fact that Donald Trump possibly didn't even want to be president. He only did it because he wanted to be more famous. He thought for sure Hillary would win and then he could just walk away and be more famous. Well, then he won, and it is pretty clear that he is overwhelmed, as anybody would be. But recently, one of his longtime friends, Howard Stern, talked about it on the radio and said a few things that made people question whether or not Donald actually wants to be president. First of all, he said that Trump always supported Hillary back in the day. Always. He was always a Democrat and he was pro-abortion. But now all of a sudden Trump has changed his mind on everything. Seems shady. He also thinks that the real reason that Trump ran for president was that he could get more famous so that he could get more money from NBC for his show The Apprentice. Just check out this clip of Howard talking about it.
I think it started out as kind of a cool, kind of fun thing to do in order to get a couple more bucks out of NBC for The Apprentice.
He also thinks that Donald Trump is asking for more investigations on voter fraud because he wants it to be revealed that maybe there was, and maybe Hillary did win.
And that's why Donald is calling for voter fraud investigation. He's pissed he won.
He wants his votes taken away?
Yeah, he still wants Hillary Clinton to win. He's so fucking pissed. He's hoping he can find some voter fraud and then hand it over to Hillary.
Now, a lot of theorists think that this is why Donald Trump is doing so many, pretty intense things as president so early on. I mean, the Muslim ban, the wall. There's a few things that people have been pretty pissed about. And maybe he knows that, and maybe he's trying to get because he does not want to be there. But the Illuminati would never let that happen. Kidding, I don't know. That one I don't know if I really believe in, but it is interesting. Okay, so this next theory is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but I've been a little nervous because, I don't know, it's intense. It's very, very intense. That is the theory that schools are trying to make kids dumber. Alright, so first let's talk about why schools would do this. Theorists think that schools are trying to make kids dumber so they grow up and they're weak and they're dumb and they have no defense skills and they can be very easily manipulated and have their minds easily controlled. And here's a few of the ways that they do that. Number one, they think that the water in all the schools have more fluoride in them than normal. Now, fluoride is something that's in all water pretty much, but there's a theory that fluoride is actually part of the government's plan to control our minds, and the more of it you have in your body, the easier you are to be controlled. So in schools, they think that all the water fountains are full of it. Number two, the food is the worst. School food is insanely awful and unhealthy and does not help kids grow up or become strong. It literally just makes them weak, tired, and not ready to fight. Number three, there's no subject in school that can help you in dire situations. There's no, survival subject. They don't teach you how to survive if there's a huge catastrophe. You don't learn self-defense. You don't learn how to make fire if you're in the middle of nowhere. And maybe that's because they don't want you to learn that. And this last one is crazy. I had no idea this was a thing, and then when I started falling down the hole and researching it, I could not believe it. Now, there was a new law passed that teachers have to teach their students something called Common Core math. Now, Common Core Math is a new way of teaching math that is fucking confusing and literally is making kids dumber. So let me explain. Basically, they take a problem like 8 plus 5, and instead of just saying 13, or instead of just counting with your fingers, it's pretty easy. They make you do like 10 steps and make it very fucking confusing. Just watch.
They're breaking it down. They want them, instead of just writing 13 or counting on their fingers, to say, how do we break down the 5 so we can make this a 10? So Michael has to think, okay, well, this is 8. How many more do I need to make it a 10? Oh, well, I need 2.
Wait, what?
Well, okay, well, that's a 2. So 2 plus what equals 5? Oh, 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay.
Okay, like literally the fuck?
Now I can group 8 and 2. That gives me my grouping of 10. And then I add the 3 and I get 13. Well, I think that's great. That's a great way to do mental math. But this whole process right here is extremely abstract for a 7-year-old to try and figure out.
Okay, that's so fucking confusing. That would make any kid dumber. And maybe that's what the schools want. Okay, now before we get to the big conspiracy about me, we are going to do a quick little update on the Mandela effect. So the Mandela effect has really taken over. I mean, everybody's talking about it. And recently, a big singer named Halsey started tweeting about it, and it got very interesting. So Halsey retweeted a meme of somebody that was questioning a lyric from a Panic at the Disco song. Close a goddamn door, not the goddamn door. And then Halsey tweeted that to the Panic at the Disco lead singer, Brendan Urie, and she said, explain. Well, then he tweeted back and he said, ha ha ha, I can't. That's some Bernstein/Berenstein shit right there. So even he's confused. Even he's like, I don't fucking know. Well, here's a clip of the original song, and it does say a goddamn door. Listen.
I chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a damn door, no?
Okay, now check out a clip of him singing it live, and notice the lyric has changed.
I chimed in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door, no?
What? I mean, he literally sang the goddamn door live. So, I don't know. Fucking crazy. Alright, speaking of crazy, now we are going to talk about a conspiracy about me. Okay, so I was on YouTube and I was like looking around and I saw a video called YouTuber Conspiracy Theories. And I was in the thumbnail and I was like, okay, maybe I should watch this. But then I was like, wait, I want to hear what this conspiracy theory is with you guys. So I'm going to call up the girl who made the video on Skype and she is going to tell us what the theory is. And I'm going to tell you if it's real. Check it out. Okay, so Allie, you have a conspiracy about me. I have not heard it yet. I don't know what it is, so why don't you break it down?
So the conspiracy theory is that you and Trisha Paytas are actually half siblings. So your dad and Trisha's mom, they conceived a love child, which was Trisha.
What's your evidence?
So the evidence is basically going back to your parents' divorce and how you didn't really have the best relationship with your father. It is rumored that since you and Trisha, you guys had birthdays that are really close together, he found out about Trisha around the same time that you were conceived. So he didn't want to tell your mother, like, hey, I got someone else pregnant. When you're pregnant too, like you're having a baby, you're having shame. So that's why you guys are so close in age. And the conspiracy goes to say that around the time that you got back in contact with your father, he told you about Trisha, and that's when you got in contact with her. And at the time, she was working at a strip club, and you wanted a better life for your sister. That's why you started doing so many collabs with her. Really got her name out there on YouTube. Like obviously she's amazing and she's done so much that on her own. But the reason why you guys don't say that you're siblings is because you don't want people to think that her YouTube career was handed to her. And also because you don't want the whole scandal coming out. And there's a lot of stuff that makes this make a lot of sense. Like for one, you know when you collab with Tana or the Gabby Show, you guys do things like make out or create porn scenes, etc. I've seen you do with Joey Graceffa, all these YouTubers. But when you collab with Trisha, I haven't seen you guys really do anything like that. I mean, you guys did a video where you were testing lube, but I feel like you could do that with your sister and it not really be weird or incest or anything. And I just don't understand when you guys are so close in age, and Trisha is gorgeous. I don't understand, it just makes sense that maybe you guys have never had any romantic chemistry or anything go on past just collabing and helping her with YouTube, etc. Maybe that's because you guys are related.
That's so good. I mean, first of all, as a conspiracy goes, that's fucking good because the time matches up. When I saw my dad dad for the first time, it had been like 12 years or something, 15 years. And then I saw him. It's the same time period that I started hanging out with Trish. Me and Trish have never done anything that's super sexual. We have very similar humors. We get along very well. We both have very similar pasts with like family drama. I'm gonna say the conspiracy is not true. But it's really good, and I would totally believe it if I wasn't me. But that's really fucking good. Wow, that's good. I love that. Well, guys, it's not true, but I wish it was. And now I'm starting to kind of believe it. What, is there any other conspiracies about me or just that one?
Well, to kind of back that up further, you guys both have like closed earlobes too. There's some things like that with like your physical features. I've also heard that you're part of the Illuminati. That wasn't my video, but I've heard that because that's why you know all the conspiracy theories before anyone else does. And that's also why you do so many collabs with the psychic twins and things like that. Just like conspiracies regarding that kind of stuff that really you're meant to put out this subliminal message in sort of like a comedy type of way. So not everyone takes you seriously, but some people get the hint.
Right. I like that one. Well, guys, I'm gonna let that second conspiracy be open. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I wish it was. Thank you so much, that was really interesting, and that's my first time hearing conspiracy about myself, and I hope that there's more, because I want to be more confused about myself than I already am. And Allie, what's your channel so everybody can go check it out?
Oh, thank you so much. It's Allie Hardesty, ALLYHARDESTY.
And you have other YouTuber conspiracies on your channel, right?
Yeah, I have the YouTuber part 1, then YouTuber part 2, and I have one on that Poppy as well.
Yeah, and she did conspiracies about Tana Mojo, she did other ones about Trish, so go check those out if you want to be even more confused than you already were. Thanks, Allie.
Thank you.
Well, there you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed this creepy conspiracy video. If you did and you want more conspiracy videos, give me a thumbs up so I know. Also subscribe to my channel right down below and turn notifications on because I make new videos every fucking day. And if you want to see more of my conspiracy theory videos, I've made a lot of them. I'll put a link to a playlist right at the top of the description below. Alright, you little theorists, I will see you tomorrow. Watch your back. Bye. On the back it says, why eat crickets? Weird, I was just about to ask that. Let's see what their answer is. We invite you to expand your mind, expand your taste, and join us in a food revolution. I invite you to take a seat. I invite you to take a seat in the dirt and just hang out with all your cricket friends.